Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me for pricing directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. That is my email address. Today, we're discussing a watch launched in 2001. Part of the long-running series of Jaeger-LeCoultre Perpetual Calendar alarms, this is the white gold Grande Memovox. I owned this model in platinum, and I can tell you it probably got more wrist time than any other watch I owned. It is the ultimate practical complication. So 41.5 millimeters in white gold, the watch is 15.3 millimeters thick, 49.8 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and 21 millimeters between the lugs, which was prescient of Jaeger-LeCoultre, as a broad lug spacing would become a signature of modern watch design. That was not obvious back in 2001 when this watch was brought to market. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see it fills up my wrist, but it doesn't overlap lug beyond arm. So I could say that this watch would probably wear just fine on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference, and with a domed bezel, it is low enough to fit underneath a jacket cuff. All in gold with a solid gold case back and a full clasp, it is a substantial watch. You can really feel it on the wrist. The timepiece includes a substantial modern JLC factory strap. It is a medium brown with reddish undertones, and you can see it has a bit of bolstering to add volume, a monotone stitch, a folded edge, and then on the underside, calfskin. You can see this is a brand new Jaeger-LeCoultre factory strap made by the OEM strap supplier to JLC, Camille Fournet of Paris. There is a modern pull tab spring bar setup here. So unlike a vintage JLC strap that you would have seen on this watch in 2001, this has the latest spec. A pull tab that allows you to rapidly remove the strap just by pulling the tab and removing the strap. No tools necessary to swap straps here. You can see that the buckle, original to the watch, is white gold to match. It's media blasted as well as polished, which makes for a nice contrast. It is a little bit more substantial and thicker of gauge than later JLC deploying clasps, so I appreciate that. The case is simple but strong. This case design was shared with everything from the Master Control right up through the Master Compressor series, and it included high complications like the Grande Memovox and the Master Tourbillon. So while it has a bit more of a brutal, striking form than a conventional dress watch, that's because this case design, the proportions as well as the shapes, were actually used on a broad range of sports and dress watches. But it certainly announces itself with a tall conical bezel that's stepped back slightly from the case band. There's a narrow white gold lip abutting the sapphire, and you can see that the lugs are relatively narrow from head on but tall in profile with a bit of a subtle transitional bevel. You can see the crowns feature the JL logo as well as knurling, and there's a pusher adjuster on the case flank for the IWC designed, or I should say Kurt Klaus IWC designed Perpetual Calendar system. This system, which was first used by JLC, I believe, on the Lyre, which was a perpetual calendar they made in the mid to late 80s, is designed to be mechanically programmed through the year 2100. So if you fall behind, all you do is press this adjuster and you just adjust the date, and then the moon phase, the day, the date, the month, the year, even the decade will move in sequence. So all you need to do is adjust to the current date for the month you're in, and everything else, including the moon phase, will move in sync. You don't need to look up the moon phase. It is always correctly set. JLC builds this calendar system in-house. Of course, Kurt Klaus designed it for IWC. JLC made one change. IWC's version of this calendar uses a quick set in the crown, which can result in inadvertent setting of that unidirectional system days or even weeks forward. This system is adjusted using a pusher adjuster. JLC decoupled the quick set for the calendar from the crown to avoid the mistakes that often occur with the IWC version. So this is just a little bit more user-friendly. Now, the watch is both an alarm and a perpetual calendar. For that matter, it's also a moon phase, and the moon phase has an adjustment interval of 122 years. So you have the Kurt Klaus Perpetual Calendar system on a dial with a lovely cruciform symmetry, split at top to bottom or side to side, and it's symmetrical. You can see outboard there is white on ruthenium as well as blue on ruthenium printing, and that to make it easier to set the alarm system. The alarm scale is printed in blue. There's a 24-hour subdial coaxial with the moon phase. That gives you your cue as to when it is not cool to manually adjust the calendar system. So that danger zone, the red numerals and indices, that little indicator is there to prevent accidents. You can see alpha hands are used both at center as well as on the sub-registers. The sub-registers are stepped once and then stepped again in their center. They are a lovely satin white silver, and then the dial itself is a metallic sunburst with a ruthenium coat. The indices are applique. They are diamond polished and rhodium coated to give them a bright reflective gem-like character, and then you can see the hands at center are alpha hands, but then they're half frosted to make for better contrast on the dial base. The watch includes both a perpetual calendar and an alarm system, but the alarm uses a hanging gong. So unlike a lot of alarm systems that are somewhat muted as the striker hits the edge of the case, this striker hits the hanging gong, which produces excellent volume, tone, and sustain. You're going to hear it now. Fully wound, it will sound for about 20 seconds, and it will wake you up if you're traveling. Now, the rest of the movement is based on the JLC 889, which is a ultra-thin, high horology tractor automatic. It has a power reserve in this application. Pardon me, it's not the 889, it's the 918. I apologize for that. The 918 alarm is a strong tractor movement that can draw complications such as the perpetual calendar along. It beats away at 8 beats per second. The compound movement has 36 joules. It does include a stop seconds function. It also includes a 45-hour power reserve. It's been adjusted in 6 positions. And all of this is water resistant to 50 meters, which is superb for a dress watch, as most of those are 20 to 30 meters. It has also been through the Master 1000 Hours control, which you can see on the reverse side. So 1000 hours of fully cased up testing of the watch, and that includes everything from chronometry to power reserve to winding efficiency to water resistance. So this is a thoroughly vetted watch with a testing standard that goes far beyond the bare movement testing of the COSC. And as it is a supremely practical everyday complication, it also includes a fully loomed dial. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.